Planet Vero Studio is powered by the Nolan Group of eXp Realty. MyNextHomeFinder.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm David Yakir.
And I'm Susan Keller-Horn.
And she got it right. And you're listening to Yak About Today in Film, where you never know how the movie ends. So sit back and watch, or get up, put your headphones on, go for a run, and listen to what we yak about today. Hey, thanks for listening once again. I am David Yakir, and I'm here with Susan Keller-Horn.
Hi, everybody.
And I say her name because she never remembers it.
It's true.
And we're here with Mo Fitzgibbon.
Hi.
Hi, Stella. Welcome.
How are you? Welcome.
So I want to start this.
Okay, go ahead.
So I went online, and this is really great. You're going to love this, Susan. So you are writer, producer, director, right? You work in television. You do biographies, documentaries, varieties, national commercials, and you've worked with every major studio. How do you create a career like that?
Well, okay. Honestly, you really want to know how I got started?
Yes.
A handstand on a skateboard. Not kidding.
All right.
So I cut my teeth, actually my elbows, skateboarding as a young girl in the late 70s. And there were boatloads of national commercials coming into South Florida. Miami was hot in the late 70s, 80s, 90s. So much production there. And my mother's friend came running in. Ruthie, they want to find a girl to skateboard in a Burdines commercial. Burdines was once a huge anchor store, department store chain in South Florida. And so I said, mother's like, let's go. And there I was in my little white bikini kicking up in a handstand on a skateboard. And that's how the career began.
Is that sort of a discovery situation?
Well,
Somebody
in a
discovered
way,
you?
because thereafter, I went on to do numerous national commercials, between the ages of 12 and 17. And then that led me into speaking parts in commercials, and then on to movies and films. And these would be bit parts, small parts,
right,
Miami. But there was something about the whole business that I was enthralled when I was upside down on my skateboard. I could see all the movie cameras and the lights, and I would always be so very kind of just, how are they making me? How am I going to look? And so it was then there later, around 17, I went behind the scenes and started working as a production assistant. And I cut my teeth first in still photography. So literally, I just climbed the ladder of every format of production, from photography to video, and then on into different genres. So that's really how it all began. I went behind the scenes. I was so enthralled by it as a young talent on camera, and I thought that's where I belonged. So I just went forward and hit it running, basically. I climbed the ladder in the business. So I began as a PA, then on to a coordinator, production manager. So every level of the business below the line, and then later, on the way up.
Well, we're so lucky to have found you here in Vero Beach. We're excited. How did you get introduced to the Vero Beach Film Festival?
Okay, so, I have been following the festival for years, because I am a Florida girl, born and raised. So it was then that, when we were making this big plan in our life to move back home. I'm bi-coastal. I live in Los Angeles, 17 years now, basically back and forth, with the goal of making my movie dreams come true, like so many of us, and getting very close, and still close today. Still, I have a call next week with a director. I mean, it just goes on for life. So we said it's just time to come home. And we decided to land in Vero Beach. And it just coincided, my move. I was arriving on the 7th, and I connected with Jill, who is a firecracker.
Yes.
And
Amazing.
badass. Am I allowed to say?
Yes, you are.
Yes, you're allowed to say that.
And so she's kind of like my people type person, you know, like I live in that world where it is black and white and 1, 2, 3. And I totally got that with her. And so we started chatting. I said, I want to get involved. I want to become a member. But I actually sponsored way, way in advance early on in March. I don't know if you guys knew that. I was one of your first sponsors.
No.
A small fan. And I'm
Wow.
actually on the page
Oh, that's awesome.
at the festival fan page.
I had heard your name from Jill non-stop since you
So
two.
I just started going in quietly because that's the way I like to roll, you know. First get in there, check it out, see what the story is. But I just feel so connected. You know, I love Florida. I'm a Florida girl. As a matter of fact, I built my business in Florida. You know, we were billing $3 million a year in commercials and music videos all the way up through the mid 2000s before I launched in LA. You know, I've worked with Ridley Scott and Spike Jonze. We had budgets for $400,000 and $500,000. We were doing Coca-Cola commercials where they were like little movies. I mean, we sort of I have been in every level and every format of film and television, literally from shooting with negative and shooting with digital, you know, and now going to a drive. Like I've seen it all. Okay, my first offline system was it's a weird name. Oh my God, it wasn't Final Cut. It wasn't Final. It was another one. Oh darn, it was before Avid. Before Avid. Okay, Fairlight or one of these crazy things. But you know, I just love what I do and what I am, and I've had to really learn that when you are passionate, whether it's in film or television or commercials or music videos, you know, you will lie awake at night, all night long, thinking about how you're going to make it and what your goal is. And when you're directing, it's a different hat that you wear. When you're producing, you're the first one in and the first one out. You guys know this. And then as writers too, like yourselves, you know, that is the hardest part, obviously, pen to paper. So I feel like with commercials, I was able to tell a movie in 30 seconds. That's very difficult. Now, when we went into music videos, I had 4 minutes and I thought, oh, great, this is going to be a wonderful thing. But little did I know it was the short form that later came back. Here we are today in short form, which is very, very important in the internet, as you know, in stories. And so, yeah, so I just graduated myself into every level of the business. As I learned to survive in it and become good at it, I thought, gee, I'd like to direct now. Or, gee, I want to write now. Because I felt like as the director getting the script, even if it was a music video, we still wrote it like a movie. Like it had characters, it had scene numbers. It's not like, oh, you know, let's just lay this down. This is casted. We have choreographers. We have sky pans and big lighting, big studios, a lot of gear. You know, we slug along. But when you're in the edit suite, which is where it all matters now, because now you're sitting there going, holy doo-doo, what the heck did I do there? That is wrong. Okay, like you start talking to yourself in third party, you forget that you're really the person that wrote it, that produced it, that directed, because now you have to be this editor. So I feel like as I've progressed even into where I am today, you know, now when I sit down and write, I already get a great sense of everything I have to achieve on the paper, from the action sequence into the dialogue. So because I believe that if you do experience every level of the business, from short form to long form, even documentary, which, as you know, is the hardest format of all. But I think that is how it, you know, when you're from Miami, you're like the wicked little stepchild of the business. Like you're way down there, you're number 3. It's all about the location. So you have to fight a lot harder for your place there. And so that was it. I became a queen in a small town, basically. And that elevated me. And so when I went to LA, they were happy to see me. They embraced me. She was the Miami girl. And so I was able to become bi-coastal.
You know, I have just a silly question. Actually, I want to tell you something about Jill. So after Jill talked to you, Jill and I met every morning and we're sitting and having coffee and said, David, you better not embarrass me in front of Mo Fitzgibbon. Right, this better be a good festival, and you know how Jill is.
Oh
right?
yeah.
When she's serious, she's serious. Don't embarrass me. Right. Anyway, the second thing, when you
I was a little scared, actually. And when you walked in that morning and you had just moved into Vero Beach and we just hugged, I was like, oh, thank God.
The second thing I wanted to ask actually is about editing. You know, and you know this really well. One of the things you see often in film festivals, because many films are by first-time directors who are doing everything.
Yes.
And editing yourself is always difficult, isn't it? I mean, you've created something, and all of a sudden you're walking into the editing room, and I mean, I guess after a while, with your experience, it doesn't happen so much.
Yeah, because you have to behave. Because
Right.
the dollar goes down, and this is where you really have to be buckled down at the shoot. If you don't have that shot list, you can go off your list, and you can do another angle maybe if time permits. But remember, those notes are going to be everything you need. And so what I like to do, you're right, you have to be like the devil's advocate. It's like you're too close or something, or the editor and you get in fights, you know. Okay, so I'm going to let you in on a secret. So my better half, Robert W. Walker, is a genius, an editor and a writer. And so literally, you see this room here? I have one of these at home. And so we have the tools around us. Before we even go and drop $4.50 an hour, we are already down to the wire. We are sitting at our systems. We've loaded stuff in. We're doing notes. We're seeing descriptions so that when I walk in and I am sitting with going into the final version, it's pretty buckled down. It's buckled down.
So you know in advance. I mean,
Yeah.
you know when you walk into that editing room exactly.
I have a rough cut.
Yeah.
It's a wreck. I'll have to walk people through it. And then if we hate it, because we see it differently, in a suite like this, I mean, look at this room, right? So this is where you want to end up, but you don't want to sit there and make decisions for hours at this, where you're at here. With the festival and these kids, I mean, the films that we saw at the festival, give me a break. They were huge. I mean, and they're shooting, you know how they're shooting these. I mean, look, we slugging around a Panavision or whatever. But then the feature films, those have money. You can see
Right.
They have actors. They have gotten a distribution deal, hopefully a small one that they can hobble together. But when that is the heart of, being a filmmaker. So how I went from a line producer in commercials to a commercial director was, back then we would shoot in film, 16 millimeter. That was the budget for the good stuff like Hair Cuttery, I Love 94, Bird Eyes, whatever. We always shot in negative. And I took all my short ends and I took my sick days at an ad agency that I worked at, that I was being paid $427 a week, right? And of course, there I was producing hundreds of big commercials, making this little schmiddly dink of money. And I knew every tape in the library. I became so valuable. And that's when I turned to myself and said, you're going to incorporate your own business. And I went and I got an accountant and we incorporated Fitzgibbon Inc. in 1989. Then I took the sick days and I built my director's reel with the short ends and came back and made a commercial director's reel.
That is wonderful.
And that's how I became a director.
That is so cool.
But this is after knowledge, lots of knowledge. And the other thing I want to point out is, for me, I wasn't, didn't have the opportunity for college. So I just dove in as a kid. And so my college was in the field.
I want to hear more about that, but I know we need to go to a break and listen to some of those people that pay the bills.
Yes, we love those people.
We'll be right back.
Dr. Stephen Tate offers the safest and most efficient technique for customized cataract surgery. Patients are personally counseled on the best approach for their needs and lifestyle. From multifocal lenses that allow for distance and reading vision to toric lenses that correct astigmatism, let New Vision Eye Center guide you safely through your options. For world-class eye care on the Treasure Coast, visit newvisioneyecenter.com.
Summer is here, and it's a great time to create your outdoor room at Sunshine Furniture. Now, during our July clearance sale, you can save an additional 10% on all in-stock patio furniture from Lloyd Flanders, Woodard, Windward, Beechcraft, Pollywood, Berlin Gardens, and more. We're the outdoor furniture experts and have anything you need, all built to withstand the Florida elements, and we also specialize in cushions, umbrellas, outdoor rugs, and fire pits. For inside, we have the largest selection of coastal sofas, sleeper sofas, dining sets, recliners, and bedroom groups in light and airy coastal colors by Four Seasons, Capri, and Universal, including a gallery of Tommy Bahama. Come in now for our July sale, including 50% off all pictures, lamps, and accessories. Sunshine Furniture, $12.95 US 1 in the Publix Plaza, Vero Beach. Visit our website at sunshinefurniturecasual.com. Also, don't forget our outlet and sales center right across the street.
Sunshine Furniture.
Are you a therapist or a nurse seeking the multi-state compact license? In the state of Florida, these and many other industries require a Level 2 live scan background check for clearance to work in your industry. A1A Fingerprints is your certified live scan source from Broward to Brevard. And if you're a medical provider, you need to be registered on the ACA web portal. A1A Fingerprints will help you navigate and comply with the law. Call 772-494-6556 or visit a1afingerprints.com. A1A Fingerprints.
And we are back. I'm here with Mo Fitzgibbon and Susan Keller-Horn. But before we get back into our conversation, I really have to thank the sponsor of this show. You all know, and all of you that have been listening to the Yak About Today series know that we've been sponsored by New Vision Eye Center in Vero Beach, Florida. And I can't thank them enough. There is no show without New Vision. So go see the docs at New Vision, because you all know I wouldn't trust my eyes to anyone else. Susan.
Yes, David.
Next.
Next. We're still talking with Mo. This is awesome.
Oh my
All right,
gosh.
I do want to talk about the film festival itself.
Yeah.
A lot of people really favor the shorts.
Yes.
Shorts are a big thing. I'm not sure it's part of our attention span, the fact that we're losing our ability to watch, feature films anymore,
Right.
even though some of us came out of an era where you used to see double features.
Hey, we still do. They're just not called that.
Right. With shorts, what is the purpose of the shorts? And some of them are really great. Are they designed to show the talent of the filmmakers to go on to some other place in the industry?
Mm-hmm.
Or are shorts the artistic entity by themselves, but people don't get to see them that often? They really don't get a distribution the way good features get. Talk to me about shorts and the role they play in the industry.
Well, it's twofold. I mean, we have looked at television in short form for years now, since MTV.
Right.
And so short form is interesting. DVDs. If you were doing a variety DVD with Gloria Estefan, she would have a 4-minute song and then a vignette, a 4-minute song and a vignette, and it would be behind the scenes. So the thing with shorts is they're about keeping your audience engaged for a period of time, that whatever that story is or whatever that film looks like is incredibly amazing, shock value, and it's easy to take in, and then you're moving on. So, your viewer today is different. So you have a linear viewer, a nonlinear viewer, a digital viewer. You have different channels now that will have just cat videos on it. And like even last night, would you like to know what I do? I lie in bed, I go to Instagram, and I just look at stories, and they're like little shorts.
Right.
And I get to tap into that world briefly, see if I like it, and I can stay in it. With a feature-length film, let's say an hour and a half, it's a different audience. It is either a live, interactive thing, or it's in digital. Supreme Video on Demand, where you get to choose it anytime you want to and when you want to. And so that's a different viewer. And then you have people who just watch linear television in a big screen. So we have 3 different types of viewers now.
One of the things that we had talked about when we had the commercial break was how you're excited about Film Florida, about being in Florida, and bringing up new filmmakers. And aren't shorts another way for new filmmakers to get their information out without having to spend a ton of money on a big film? Tell us a little bit about that and how you're involved with Film Florida.
Yes, well, of course, like the short film. Okay, so even me, if I have a show I want to pitch or direct, I'll go out and shoot a short. So then I can go in with a sizzle reel and I can pitch this story and then give them a taste of what that show is going to be like. So yes, you can drive the bigger project with a short. If it is just doing shorts and it's a story thing and you're putting it in a festival, yes, that's a wonderful thing because they're going to get coverage as a director, a producer, a writer, and they'll walk around town trying to get signed with that or build their reel to be a director in commercials or a director. You're not just going to jump and be a director on a feature film. We're talking 30, 40 years. I have a director now looking at one of my projects, Andres Bartowiak, and he was a cinematographer for 40 years. Joel Schumacher, Sidney Lumet, is it? Lumet? Mm-hmm. Okay. And then he started wanting to direct. This is a guy who had everything. All right. Wow. And then he wanted to direct. So he had all those films that he was the cinematographer on. And so to get into that space is different. So you need to have shorts and you need to have a demo reel and a sizzle and a pitch deck now. You need everything under the sun to sell yourself because nobody is signing you anymore. Right. Unless you come in A, with the money, A, with a director, A, with an actor, writes $250,000, and maybe then, okay, they'll take a meeting with you. It's just the hardest thing to do. And that's why entities like Film Florida, who are there for their industry, are there for their companies, their young filmmakers, to nurture and guide them, to promote them, to show everybody, hey, look, Florida has a lot of great talent in here. We have had, look at me. Okay. And I'm from like 100 years ago. So, and we had nothing. Okay. We didn't have fax. We got a cell phone. When I got a cell, all right, it was like this big. So the thing is, where they are today, I think young people with the drive and ambition who cannot go to sleep at night, who want to be a singer, who want to be a director, an actor, they have to use the tools around them to make these shorts, to get seen, to walk through the door and say, here's my work. I was just accepted at the Vero Beach Film Festival. I am a winner of the Vero Beach Film Festival in shorts. And that goes a long way. And I think that's why it's important. And then with Film Florida, who is on target, has everybody on their radar. I know you guys remember, I doubly pitched that. Thank you very much for joining. Jill was already all over it a year ago or two. And then, of course, when she got on the phone with me, she could not escape it.
She didn't leave me alone about it. I
so she said, whatever, I'm doing it. It sounds great again. But so, yes. Yeah.
I had so many questions. We've got like a minute. We got about a minute.
You need an hour with me.
I need an hour with
so
you.
So sorry. I have so much to talk about because I love Florida. I'm from Florida.
We'll do it again, right? Because I want to ask you about episodic, the role episodics are going to have in film festivals. But Jesse's going to tell me to shut up in about 30 seconds.
Okay.
But just a quick one. We are planning 23. In fact, we're announcing 23 in the cultural calendar. Today, we're sending in the artwork. So we're all excited about 23, and we're going to reveal more and more about what we're planning to do in 23 and as we move on. But right now,
if you want to be a sponsor, we do need money now to get 23 going forward. So please, sponsors, patrons, we want you.
Contact us at info.
Contact us. VBFilmfest.org. Thanks.
Bye.